All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. They work in your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special edition Lone Coverage. We are doing pregame. We are getting ready. It's exciting, man. I'm so pumped. I got the background ready. I got that 80s style outfit ready. Tony, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I started my first day of my week-long class I got to do to start my separation out of the service, so I learned a lot.
Congratulations.
Got bombarded with information, but I'm excited for tonight's game because you know what I want? I want a Georgia win. Tired of Alabama. I'm tired of Nick Saban. It's time to get past somebody else.
I will take that torch, even though I have actually enjoyed, Bama winning it over these years. They have set the bar. Thank you for your service, Tony. I hope everything goes smoothly getting out and transitioning to, civilian life.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been one of those. I never really planned to serve for the 8 years that I've served so far. It was like I'll do 4 and then get out, and here I am 4 years later. So it's been one of those. I've been thinking about it a lot. It's just now it's getting to be fruition. So I've tried to be as prepared as possible.
Well, take every single bit of advice they can give you while it's free, because when you get out, that stuff's expensive.
Right.
All right, so let's kick it off with some pregame info. I've been checking the interwebs, as we'll call it, looking for information. Nothing has come out that's told me any different. It looks like the injuries for both teams are the same ones they've had. Nothing new from Cincinnati or Michigan for either team. As far as I know, everybody that played or practiced this week is still a good go. So it seems like we're going to have a good game. No asterisk to go by either team because somebody didn't play. I like the rosters for both these teams. I do think Georgia has a more complete roster, but Bama has that star power. They've got that Heisman Trophy sitting in the office right now, waiting for Bryce to take it home when this game's over. So hopefully it's not a national title trophy that they're also taking home. But what are you feeling? I put aside some questions for us to go over, some pick this, pick that. If you want, we can go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, I mean, let's just jump right into them.
All right. So who's going to score first, and is it going to be a rushing or passing touchdown?
I think it'll be a passing touchdown from Bama. Because I think for Bama, that's really what they have to do. Because if you think about it, offense has kind of been where Bama. Like I said, when I watched Bama throughout the season, there was nothing really on either side of the ball that really stood out other than Bryce Young. And that's purely from a statistical standpoint. He doesn't have the wide receiver power that Bama has been used to having. They don't really have that like ball hawking, gonna score, at least 21 points on you from a defensive side of the ball. So I think for Bama, they're gonna come out kind of early. They're gonna establish the passing game. And I think it'll be a passing touchdown first for Bama to strike.
I'm going to go with Bama as well, and this is kind of contradictory to what I've always gone for because in most of these games, you'll notice Georgia scores first and gets an advantage. I think Bama strikes first. I think it's a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, especially with Robinson going to be pretty much back. He's going to have to be the main workhorse for the team. So yeah, now that I think about it, I could very easily see that as well. To be honest with you, with kind of how Bama likes to play, who knows? Maybe a pass to the running back out of the backfield.
Might be a running back pass out of the backfield.
Yeah, very much so.
All right, so we'll go to the next question. Who will have more receiving yards, Alabama's Jameson Williams or Georgia's Brock Bowers? That's a good one.
Ooh, that is a good one. Again, I might have to just go with Bama. And I say that because I think for Georgia, if you're going into this game, you have to look at whenever you face Alabama, like pretty much like how you would face an NFL team, and when you face a really good quarterback on the other side, what's the best way to beat Tom Brady? What's the best way to beat Patrick Mahomes? What was always the best way to beat Peyton Manning? Keep them off the field. To me, Georgia has to win at the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line has to be big. They have to be physical. They have to run the ball.
Yeah.
Make some of the short intermediate passes, over the middle, just to kind of help with establish that running game and help break up the monotony of just running the ball. And I think that's where Bama will kind of take advantage a little bit because obviously Georgia's going to be relying on, that big defensive tackle, Davis. He got kind of embarrassed that first time. I don't know if that's going to happen again. So I think this time they're going to try to stuff that run. And when they do, Bama's going to be left with no other option to throw the ball. So to me, I think it's going to be Bama's wide receiver.
I'm going to go the opposite, and I will explain. It's not because I think Brock Bowers is better by any means. He's a tight end. He's not a receiver. But I'm going to say without John Mechie, they're going to do above and beyond. You may see him triple teamed in this game. You may see him, man-to-man is what Georgia's run almost exclusively this year. And I can see them still running man very well. But you're going to see some different schemes from the linebackers. You're going to see maybe even Nakobe Dean pick up that zone cut and cut off anything Jameson Williams tries under 20 yards and make somebody else like Ja'Cory Brooks win this game for him. And nothing against Brooks. This is a big stage, and he may be, but he may not be up to that challenge. I would expect Darian Kendrick to be the guy on Williams for most of the game. And, he's given up a few plays, but he's very consistent in his coverage. So I'm going to take that. And I'm going to say Brock Bowers is going to – he didn't show up to the second half of that SEC title game. Go Dogs. I appreciate that. But I do think that Brock Bowers wins this yardage battle, and he's going to be a reliable target.
Yeah.
So that leads us to the next one, and I'll throw the stats out first. Georgia has averaged 3.2 sacks per game. So will Bryce Young be sacked more than 3 times in this game?
I'm going to say he gets sacked right at 3. Because even as bad as Alabama has really struggled this year, they have done a decent job at protecting Bryce. Like, he's had time to throw. Really, where we've seen Bryce kind of make his mistakes is when he kind of does what most quarterbacks do. When the protection breaks down, he starts to scramble and then he starts to ad lib. And then, like most quarterbacks, that's typically where your danger zone happens. You're either really, really good or you're really, really not. And with Mechie being out for Alabama, that's going to be big. I can see that. I can see him trying to dump it off a lot to the running backs. And you can even go back to the Iron Bowl when they faced Auburn. Auburn was almost always getting back there, and I think Georgia has a lot of the potential. Again, I'm hoping that the conspiracy theory that Georgia blew the SEC game so that Bama can get in, so they can be like, all right, we've rolled through everybody. Bama's in the playoffs. Nobody can say, oh, well, you didn't face Bama for the championship.
Right.
Like, I'm really hoping Georgia's like, all right, Bama's here. Time for us to show that we were the number one team for the entire year for a reason. So I'm really hoping that they do. I'm really hoping they get back there. They stuff a lot of these runs. But yeah, I'm not going to completely count out Alabama's O-line. So I would give them right at 3, but no more than 3.
I'm going to give you an exact number, and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to say 5. And I know that's high, but I look at Auburn's defensive line. They got 6 sacks on Bryce Young. This is a much better defensive line. And we played very vanilla. Even the play calling in the SEC title was vanilla. So I almost believe the conspiracy theorists when they say Georgia wasn't trying to win. They were trying to get out of there without showing their hand, without getting injured. So I say 5. I probably will be wrong. It'll probably be 2. Hopefully it's more.
2.5.
2.5. Yes, 2.5. Perfect number. And then we'll go to the next one. This one's a little hurtful to me, but how many interceptions does Stetson Bennett throw?
I say at least 2. Because Bama, they're going to be ball hawking, and it's not like he's a terrible quarterback either. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, he's going to throw 4 picks. Now, if it's like third quarter, they're down by 2 scores, hypothetically, I could maybe see him forcing some more throws. Because I mean, you got to think about it. You either have to score, like you have to make every drive count, whether you're coming away with field goals, whether you're getting the touchdown, whatever. You have to make that difference. And I think that's what happens with a lot of professional players and collegiate players is you leave points on the board, and you can't do that whenever you face an opponent like Alabama. Like, can you kick field goals the entire game? No, sometimes you got to go for it. But at the same time, too, if it's like 4th and 5, you're at the 10-yard line, just kick the field goal. Like if you've been really struggling to like get down there, like you had to get a couple good breaks, like a couple PIs or something like that to get there, kick the field goal. Take the safe points, live to fight, don't turn the ball over on downs, don't throw an interception, and then you have to dig yourself out of a hole if Alabama is able to march their way down the field and score as well. So to me, they take what points you can get, and if you can make a stop, make a stop. Whatever you got to do, make a stop.
Yeah, I would probably agree with 2. I think that's a good number. He's thrown 2, and he threw for 2, in 2019. No, it was 2020. Yeah, in the regular season game. No, I don't think that's right. Was it 2019? Am I thinking about? I don't think they played him in 2020, so it had to be 2019 with Stetson Bennett. It just doesn't sound right, though. The 2021 SEC title, he threw 2, and I, both throws were pretty bad. I mean, one he threw across his body right into coverage. The other was just a bad read, and he allowed Jordan Battle to step right in front. You know what? It was last year, regular season.
Was it?
Yep, because that was right before they lost to Alabama, then they lost to Florida.
Yep.
And then
you're right.
JT Daniels.
He went. This was the SEC championship. Yeah, he threw 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. In Alabama's win, 41-24.
Yeah, and he'll probably throw 2 again. Hopefully not. If Bennett is struggling, will Kirby put in JT Daniels or ride it out? And if he does put in Daniels, how soon do you think it happens?
I think you kind of have to play it by ear. I think honestly, you have to kind of see how it goes in the first half. If Bennett's really struggling in the first half, do what Alabama did the last couple of years. Put your backup quarterback in, because really at that point, what is it going to hurt? Bennett struggled against him in the SEC championship. Now, again, whether or not the conspiracy theory of they purposely did that or not, what do you have to lose at that point? They already beat you in the SEC championship. It's for the big title. If you keep the quarterback you got now, you either continue to get embarrassed, or maybe he comes back, or you ride with the new guy. You throw in JT Daniels. All right, man, see what you got. And if anything, it helps Daniels for the next season because you have a championship game under your belt, whether you win or lose. And it gives you a better idea of what you have as a quarterback prospect going into next season. So, I mean, and who knows what and if you think about it, while Alabama is extremely well coached, you never know. Brand new quarterback in there that Alabama didn't prepare for, they may be like, whoa, wait a minute. You might get a couple plays, and before you know it, maybe you're only down by 7 and you have a chance.
I got you. I will totally accept that, because that's what I would say if I didn't have faith in my offense here. I'm gonna go with he does not struggle, no JT Daniels, because Josh Job's still going to be out of this game. From everything I've heard, he's not playing, and it'll be another very inexperienced secondary for Bama. I'm not going to say Cincinnati carved them up by any means, but the talent level of Cincinnati to show up to that game and throw and catch some of the throws they did and run after catch. We have elite talent on the edge. George Pickens is close to 100% as he's going to be in college. This is his last game.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a lot more of him this game than you've seen, in the previous, even Michigan. We only saw him a few times. He will play 20 snaps in this game. I could put a number on it, and I think 20 is right.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to account for him, and I think they're going to play this offensively kind of like they did against Michigan. They know that Will Anderson's there. They're going to account for him, but the best way to keep him from getting home is to have the ball out way before he gets a chance to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see a lot of check downs, a lot of plays that set up the deep routes later in the game. So I don't think we see JT Daniel. I hope not.
Right.
So I'm good with it. I hope
mean, I mean, like I said, for really to me, I mean, I know as a Georgia fan, obviously, and even not as a Georgia fan, but for tonight, I'm a Georgia fan. Even then, like I said, to me, it's really a no lose situation. Like I said, if your quarterback doesn't struggle, fantastic. But if he does, again, JT Daniels has been one of those. He's been kind of the guy that they're like, all right, hey, he's going to be the next one. Like, why not see what you got? And like I said, you never know. We've seen crazy things happen. Like I said, we've seen Alabama. Who was it? Hurt struggled, so they threw in Tua, and Tua brought him back. And then you saw Tua struggle, and then they're like, you know what? We're going back to Hurts, and then Hurts brought him back. So you never really know what may happen if they're like, fudge it, let's just throw him out there.
Right. I see Chris commented. Sorry, I didn't see it earlier. Chris, go Dogs. I appreciate that, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good friend of ours.
I think if we were to pull up a map right now of how many people wanted Alabama to win, and how many people wanted Georgia to win, the entire United States would be red for Georgia except for Alabama. And probably not even like northern Alabama, because Auburn would be like, no, go Georgia, go Dogs.
Yeah, they hate us, and they're going go Dogs at this point.
Right.
It's just hard. Even I want this win as a Georgia fan. I've been a Georgia fan all my life. I want this win, but you can't downplay what Nick Saban has not only done to Alabama, but to college football, to head coaches. His coaching tree is, it's almost as big as Bill Parcells at this point.
Yeah. Bill Parcells. I mean, you look at Bill Belichick, like, it's amazing the fact that really, and I say in the last 20 years, how much of an impact Nick Saban has made on the collegiate world, and then how much Bill Belichick has made on the professional world, as far as the talent that goes in, the standard of what you set for a franchise, for a program. It's one of those, as much as it pains me to say, once these guys retire, like once Nick Saban is like, yeah, I'm kind of just done coaching, I don't know if we'll ever see another dynasty like that. Basically what this is currently, it's a one long giant dynasty of success from a head coach. I will say though, I think Saban is actually a better teaching coach, because I've noticed his assistants tend to do better when they leave. Now they turn into hot garbage whenever they face Nick. But like, you look at Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker had great success at Michigan State. You look at Kirby. Kirby's had great success with Georgia. Now Sarkisian, I don't really consider Sarkisian a Nick guy. But he struggled with Texas. And kind of same with Bill O'Brien. I'm waiting for Bill O'Brien to go somewhere and screw up another organization.
Last game.
But yeah, I mean, to me, I think Nick is honestly the better of those two coaches, because like I said, his assistants typically still go and succeed. Belichick really only has ever had one do that, and that was McDaniels. And then McDaniels immediately came back. So
he had measurable success, but shortcomings as well. Mm-hmm. And he's left a few times and come back. I think that he enjoys not having that pressure as a head coach. I've never been in that shoe. I've been a coordinator. I've never been a head coach, so I don't know what that's like. I don't want to. That's got to be a no sleep at night kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand going back. On the flip side of that, with talking about Saban and all of his assistants, I think the time that Kirby spent there, he soaked up as much as he could, and I think that's why he's been able to have the sustained success he has at Georgia, If we do not get a national title tonight, though, the recruits are going to start wondering, why would we go to Georgia if we cannot beat Bama?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen eventually. And so to avoid that conversation, you got to win one. If it's
Yeah.
not this year, next year's roster is not going to be as good. There will be holes. It will not be a complete roster. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to send a lot of people to the NFL. So this is your chance. You need to cash in.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of leads to my last question. If Bama does win tonight, put a number on it. What's the percentage chance that Nick Saban calls it quits tonight after this game?
I'm gonna only say like a 30% chance, and I feel like 30% is really high. Because I mean, really, if you're Nick Saban at this point, why would you? You're getting paid millions of dollars. Like Alabama will erect a Nick Saban statue. All you got to do is just snap your fingers, and they'll have like 6 of them ready to go. Or one for each national title you've brought to Bama, either one that Nick wants.
Right.
Because I mean, really, for like you said, being a head coach, it is a lot of sleepless nights. You're having to make sure your guys are prepped. You're having to make sure your coordinators are doing what they're supposed to do. You take all the flack if there's if everything goes to crap, and you get some of the success if you win. So I mean, really, for Nick, I mean, what pressure is there? Because even if he loses, it's not like he's going to get fired. He'll be like, all
Right.
right,
That's
we'll
never
just
going to happen.
yeah, it'll just be like, all right, come back again next year. You'll do it again, no problem. So no, I mean, if Nick does, I think Nick is just. I think for Nick, he'd be like, all right, I'm done. I'm old. I want to spend time with my family. I'm kind of done. Um, my big question would be though is, and who do you think Nick then passes the torch off to? Because if you think about it, Urban Meyer, had Ryan Day, passed it off to him. If you look at Bob Stoops, he passed it off to Lincoln Riley. So I mean, to you, who do you think Nick Saban would pick, and would have the Nick Saban stamp of approval? Like, what, this guy can carry on the Alabama legacy, no problem.
I don't, because of the way his coordinators go in and out, I don't think there's a guy there or has been there that's going to step into that. 99% of everyone's going to say, oh, Dabo Swinney's been waiting on that job. And he may be the top candidate, but there are guys in the NFL right now. I mean, we've heard a lot lately about, was this the last game for Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson together? Mm-hmm. Some say Russell Wilson. I say Pete Carroll's probably the guy on the way out. And this is an opportunity for him to come back to college. He would probably be able to sustain that program. And Pete Carroll's a no-nonsense kind of guy like Nick Saban.
Mm-hmm.
And he would probably, carry that torch well. The only other person that I would say that's coaching college right now that would even be a name would be Kirby. And Kirby's not going to leave Georgia for Alabama. This is his dream job.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, plus, why would you, you learn so much under him, you learn under your tutelage. If you wanted to stay there and eventually take the program over, why would you leave?
Still be there.
It's kind of the same with McDaniels, in New England. I think McDaniels is just kind of like, Bill, when you eventually retire, I want this job. I want to take over. I just wanted to go somewhere else so that way I can, say I did it and get a feel for it. So yeah, I mean, you could maybe say Dabo, but when really did Clemson have one of those really good defenses that has been able to stop an SEC offense? Like they 9 times out of 10 would just get shredded on the defense. Like now offensively they couldn't be stopped.
Right.
And offensively is really where they matched with Bama. But you have to think about it too. That's 90% of college. Like you don't really know a lot of college teams with the exception of like Georgia this year that it's like, yeah, what are they known for? Defense. Like, no, it's just you drop 40, 50, you're probably going to win. Just whoever has the ball last.
I mean, I'm totally on board with that too. I think, and you look at Dabo's 2 championships, 2 generational quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, the first one. Although I will say, I think they were close. They were a pretty good team under the quarterback right before Watson. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Number 10. But, they were close there. And then to get Trevor Lawrence and sustained success under Lawrence.
Oh, Todd Boyd.
Yes, Todd Boyd. They were pretty good under Boyd. He lacked that deep throw ability, but he made the offense tick, and he could take over a game. Like you said, defensively, they've had a few teams that were really good defensively, and they've had some stars, but they haven't had that every single year. And that's something that until this year, Bama's defense was exposed a few times. Up until this year, I'd say they've still had good defenses, top 10 defenses. Whether it be Jeremy Pruitt or Pete Golding. Pretty sure his name. Yeah, I know.
Oh, surprisingly enough, Todd Boyd is actually an offensive assistant for Clemson currently.
He's a smart guy. Anyway, what else you want to cover? Well, who wins the game? Give me a score.
I kind of agree with what a lot of people said. I think Georgia keeps it a lot closer. Again, I'm going to root for Georgia, so I'm going to say 27-24 Dogs.
That's very close to what I was thinking. I was thinking a little closer to 31-21 Dogs. And simply because I think we get the pressure we need to keep Bryce Young off balance. And, a lot of people are saying 30 points. If Bama reaches 30 points, this game is done. And I hope they don't reach 30, which is why I'm saying 21.
Right. I could even see 31-28. That's almost where I thought you were going to go when you first said that. I was like, okay, he's going to go 31-28 route. But I think this game is going to be competitive enough. It comes down to a field goal to decide who wins it. I
just hope that the third team that plays, the refs don't play such a significant role that, the winner's decided by a bad call. It's all I'm asking. Fair game. You want to call pass interference on both? Do it. Holding on both? Cool. Just don't be biased.
Yeah, as long as it's consistent. Like if you're calling bad calls on both teams, fine. Call bad calls on both teams. But yeah, don't do it just for one particular team. Yep, I'd agree with that wholeheartedly.
I think that's all I've got, man.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
I'm gonna go pace my living room for 45 minutes till they kick off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a blast though, and it'll be fun. It'll also be an interesting off season for college. I mean, we've got all these coaching moves. You've got, Jim Harbaugh might be potentially leaving the college game. So I mean, the college is going to be just as interesting as the NFL this year. So
free agency in college is in full swing, and all this name, image, and likeness that is persuading players to join certain schools is getting insane. So we'll have one more episode of Blown Coverage on Wednesday, and then we're done until next season. I don't think we'll come back and do another. We'll still have Loose Lugs on Mondays, but that's about it for Blown Coverage. It's been fun. I'm excited for that next episode. It'll be sad to see it go.
I know.
But
it'll suck, but I'll be out of the service. I'll have a little bit more facial hair than what I got currently. Probably have some longer hair too. I'll probably look like I'm homeless. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
I look like I'm 80s and homeless.
Nah, your beard's too well kept. Now, if you were just like scraggling out, yeah, I can see it.
This is naturally not touched. It just grows that ratchet.
That's not bad though.
Anyway, this was fun. I'm glad you guys joined us. Tony Hollinsworth always keeping us going. He produces the show. He helps out on the show. Does his thing. We'll be back Wednesday for one more episode. We'll recap the game, get you guys set up for the long off season where we won't be here, and hopefully Porter Hayes will be back by then. His wife's sick tonight, so hope she feels better as well. Until then, we are presented by the ASAP All Sports All Plays Network, powered by Sports Culture Media. We will see you guys Wednesday. Tony?
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365 365, we making a place. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.